That's the optimum.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, but it 4-on-4 worked, and 5-on-5 worked.
Three is the fewest number of players you can have on the ice. I don't think there's going to be a major rewrite of the rules saying, actually, we'll make hockey 6-on-6 plus a goalie. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to stay with the basics. So, I could see a scenario whereby when you take a penalty, it goes to 3-on-2.
Yeah.
That I could see. Mm-hmm. Because then when you go back to 4-on-3, the player comes out of the box. We're getting 4-on-4 here, and you just remove the excitement that comes with 3-on-3. Other technologies that have come into other sports, if you look at the NFL in the 70s and 80s, it's not played on grass anymore. We're starting to see this plastic grass, AstroTurf.
Oh.
Well, that's rubbish at the moment because it's just painted concrete.
Yeah.
But now, even outdoor stadiums have got it because it's cost efficient and it's just as good as the real thing, pretty much.
Yeah.
We're seeing professional rugby in this country played on it. We're seeing professional football played on it. Women's World Cups have been played on it. Mm-hmm. Artificial ice sort of works, but probably doesn't.
Yeah.
Give it 50 years and I bet it does.
You think we're heading towards the end of the ice rink?
I don't think the NHL will be played on artificial, but I bet some minor league teams, and I bet some junior teams, and I bet some communities in hot climates are using artificial ice that is never quite the same as ice, because it's never quite the same, but it's good enough to be an acceptable replacement.
And it makes your outdoor games 1,000,000% easier to do.
And so much cheaper.
Does that mean that, do you think in 50 years we're going to turn into an outdoor sport?
No. I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
Because football hasn't turned into an indoor sport.
Touché.
Nor do I think it will. But, you couldn't have had ice hockey across the southern states of America in the early days of hockey because the technology wasn't there in the 20s, 30s and 40s to combat the outside air temperature.
I mean, the Florida Panthers in their first couple of seasons had terrible trouble trying to keep the Miami arena.
Yeah, we've seen it in this country in a couple of pre-season games. You're playing games in August, it's 25 degrees outside.
Yeah.
And
slush.
You can't cope with it. So, if you want to play ice hockey in the Middle East, in Africa, in parts of Asia, where the climate is not conducive to ice sports, this is your route in.
I'm going to challenge you on the not an outdoor sport a little bit, because two sports I can think of immediately that have gone indoor and outdoor are the National Football League and Major League Baseball. There are domed American football stadiums.
Yeah, that's true.
And there's Major League Baseball stadiums that are roofed.
But they are to allow the game to be played, because you can't play baseball in the rain. Or you can't play baseball in heavy rain.
Dallas is pretty dry.
In that case, it's spectator comfort for the heat.
Yeah.
So, if we're playing outdoors, it doesn't want to be somewhere where the spectators are going to be uncomfortable.
Okay.
And if you're going to acclimatise a building, then why have a roof at all? You may get more retractable roofed hockey stadiums in certain places.
That'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
That would be terrific fun, yeah. Has anyone got a spare few quid? Can we get that with our £1 million we gave to the league a few episodes ago?
It's a bit late now. But the reason I'm saying that is because currently in both those sports that you have to take into account whether you're indoor or outdoor. And I think that'll be a really interesting thing to kind of theorise.
I think the problem with outdoor is possibly going to be that the weather is going to badly affect it. In that, if you've got rain, is that going to wash off the ice surface, the artificial ice surface? I'm not so sure it is. So I think you probably still can't play outside in the rain. Bit of snow, same sort of thing. Wind, that's fine, just adapt to it. The sun's in the sky, it's a bit low, well, okay, deal with it.
Yeah.
But it still has to be a certain kind of outdoor weather.
Yeah.
But we've got outdoor games now, we didn't used to. I just think we'll get more of them, and I think it becomes much easier with artificial ice. I've seen demos of it online where people are skating on it and they say, it feels pretty much similar to the real thing. The puck's moving in the same sort of way.
Yes, I mean, that's the key thing, isn't it?
But
how the puck moves.
But we could develop a puck that is or behaves identically off a stick, off a synthetic ice surface that's not the same vulcanised rubber compound used for ice hockey. Mm-hmm. In the same way that a red cricket ball and a white cricket ball are different.
Yes.
They're the same,
Yes.
but they're a little bit different. The white ball is harder, so it can keep its colour.
Yeah.
You might get a subtle difference like that, but essentially, you're still playing the same game. So I think that'll happen. The game will become more global.
Yeah.
In terms of, look at the makeup of the NHL players in 1968, look at the nationalities there now. There will be more nationalities in the NHL in 50 years' time. Look at the players playing in domestic leagues 50 years ago. We haven't got many domestic leagues 50 years ago, but it's all British or Canadian. Now, we're getting the Scandinavians coming across, we're getting the Eastern Europeans coming across. Leagues will become more global. As more people can travel, as travel becomes easier, then I think we'll see more players from more countries playing hockey in more places.
Do you think this is the end of Canadian dominance? Because basketball's played in loads of places, but America is still king in the Olympic version of the sport. But hockey's got, I would say, a more wide range appeal in terms of nations who play it.
Yeah, I certainly think that Canada, because it is the national sport there, will always be a top team because it matters to them, it's important to them that they're good at it. Whereas Russia, yes, they want to be good at ice hockey, but they're also important that they're good at other sports as well.
Such as espionage.
Is that a sport?
They're winning, if it is.
There are rules, it's codified.
Yes, it is.
So it ticks some of the boxes. It's certainly competitive.
Yeah, very competitive.
But no, I don't think it's ever going to be... It would require a major change from a lot of nations that have other sports top of their agenda for it to then become their number one sport. I think Canada and a couple of other places are always going to have competitive teams because it matters too much to them.
Yeah.
I don't think football's ever not going to be the number one sport in Great Britain, for example.
That doesn't mean we dominate it.
No, but it means it matters to us, and so we don't just shrug it off when we're poor.
That's true. We just get angry.
Yeah. So then, Douse, let me throw this one back at you. I know we don't normally do this, but...
Yeah, thanks for that.
What does the Elite League look like in terms of team numbers?
Okay.
11 at the moment. How many in 50 years?
My limited hockey knowledge in terms of the history of hockey tells me that about 50 years ago we had a similar number of teams playing at the top two levels, about 15, 20. You know what I mean? At a push, I think you say there was 20, 25 teams in the UK at the moment playing professional, semi-professional hockey. I think that'd be a fair... Because you've got to take in the Scottish National League and the League and all the rest of it. So, we haven't developed much in terms of where we play hockey. Once one franchise closes, another opens somewhere else. 50 years ago, the hotbed of hockey was the North. It had teams everywhere in the North East. Now there's Bellingham, and that's it.
And Whitley.
And Whitley Bay. Sorry to everybody from Whitley Bay. People from Whitley Bay don't listen to podcasts. What are you talking about? What I think happens is if your prediction for artificial ice comes true, I think we double in 50 years at the very least. Because then you can put a rink anywhere, you can put a team anywhere, and one of the massive costs is brought down.
I don't think there are going to be many rinks being built unless they're direct replacements for current rinks.
Yeah.
I don't think many councils are saying, actually, we're going to build a brand new rink. We never had one in our town before. We're going to build one now, and we're going to put enough seats in it to house professional hockey. I don't think that's going to happen. But if you can put artificial ice in your local sports hall, if it happens to be large enough...
Yeah.
The hall at the Institute for Sport, just across the road from Ice Sheffield, that can now host an ice hockey pad. Or at least an artificial ice hockey pad.
Yeah, that's true.
So there are going to be venues that are now open to ice hockey. If they've got the spectator capacity, then they can play. But the Elite League started, and has always yo-yo between 8 and 12. And we've had 15 years of this now. Yes, the game's getting bigger, but the league isn't. I'd be surprised if there were more than 16 teams.
Really?
I really would. Because you think in a couple of years I'd expect us to be back up to 12. I could see a couple of old former franchises coming back to the league and getting us up to maybe a 14 or a 15 would work for conference purposes if you got a nice number that you can split into 3. But I just can't see it ever getting up to football's levels of having 20 teams in a league.
Yeah.
I just don't think there'll be that many, or that many that want to compete at the top level. That's not to say the product won't be terrific. I just don't think the Elite League is going to continually expand, because it's had 15 years to do that, and it hasn't. So that's it for another episode of Hockey Hypothetical. Make sure you send us a tweet, leave us a comment on the things that we've said, or any ideas for future hypotheticals that you'd like us to discuss. But on behalf of Douse, this is Jonathan, signing off.